The gravitational training chamber hummed with artificial atmosphere as Cadet Elena Vasquez adjusted the weight distribution harness around her shoulders. 3 months into the Galactic Defense Initiative's first integrated training program, she had grown accustomed to the stares from her non-human counterparts. What she hadn't anticipated was the barely concealed hostility from Commander Thexvar, a 7-foot-tall Zentorian whose exoskeleton gleamed like polished obsidian under the chamber's harsh lighting. Human, Thexvar's voice rasped through his translator, the mechanical device struggling to convert his chittering language into standard galactic. Your species continues to demonstrate inadequacy in basic combat protocols. Elena kept her eyes forward, watching the holographic targets materialize in the training space. Around them, other cadets, a mix of crystalline Vortakians, gaseous Nephilim contained in environmental suits, and hulking Krillian berserkers, prepared for the day's exercise. The humans were outnumbered 50-1 in this facility, a deliberate choice by the Galactic Council to test their species' adaptability. Sir, Elena responded, her voice steady despite the tension coiling in her muscles. I'm ready to begin the simulation. Thexvar's compound eyes, each the size of a human fist, focused on her with predatory intensity. His homeworld of Zentor Prime possessed gravity 4 times that of Earth, and his species had evolved into apex hunters with reflexes that could track objects moving at near-light speeds. To him, humans were slow, fragile, and utterly unsuited for galactic warfare. Your performance in yesterday's tactical assessment was pathetic, he continued, his mandibles clicking with what Elena had learned was the Zentorian equivalent of contempt. Reaction time, 0.3 seconds. A Zentorian child could outmaneuver you while molting. The other cadets began to form a loose circle, sensing the escalating confrontation. Elena had noticed this pattern before. Thexvar seemed to take particular pleasure in humiliating the human cadets publicly, as if proving a point to the assembled representatives of the galaxy's warrior races. Sir, with respect, Elena said, her grip tightening on her training weapon, I completed the assessment within acceptable parameters according to. The backhanded strike came without warning, a blur of chitinous armor and contained fury. Thexvar's primary arm swept toward her face with the force of a hydraulic press, intending to demonstrate the vast gulf in physical capability between their species. What happened next would be analyzed for months by xenobiologists and military strategists across 7 star systems. Elena's body moved with a fluidity that seemed to bend the laws of physics. Her right hand intercepted Thexvar's wrist with surgical precision, fingers finding the exact point where the Zentorian's exoskeleton segmented. Her left hand struck upward, palm connecting with what served as his elbow joint. The leverage was perfect, the angle calculated with unconscious mathematical precision. The sound that echoed through the chamber was sharp and final, like a tree branch breaking under too much pressure. Thexvar's spine, composed of interlocking cartilaginous plates designed to withstand his homeworld's crushing gravity, separated with a wet crack. His towering form crumpled to the deck plating, compound eyes wide with shock and rapidly fading consciousness. The silence that followed was absolute. Elena stood over the fallen commander, her breathing barely elevated, her expression one of mild concern rather than triumph. Around them, cadets from a dozen species stared in stunned disbelief. A human, soft, slow, fragile by galactic standards, had just neutralized one of the military's most feared instructors with movements too quick for most of them to follow. Medical team to Training Bay 7, Elena said calmly into her communicator, then knelt beside Thexvar's motionless form. Spinal injury, requires immediate attention. As the emergency response team rushed in, Elena reflected on the irony that would reshape galactic military doctrine. While other species had evolved obvious advantages, strength, speed, natural weapons, humanity had developed something far more dangerous, the ability to turn physics itself into a weapon. Their understanding of leverage, momentum, and anatomical weak points, combined with reflexes honed by millions of years of tool use, made them devastatingly effective against opponents who relied purely on biological advantages. The galaxy was about to learn why humans had conquered their own world before reaching for the stars.